If you have been wondering whether teaching could be the next chapter, especially after years in the room, this one's for you. Because the truth is, stepping into education isn't about starting over, it's about building on everything you already know and finding the confidence to share it. Part of that journey is understanding how the basics, like English and maths, support you in becoming a brilliant educator. So let's talk about English and maths. Not the most exciting headline, I know, but hear me out because if you're planning to move into teaching, these subjects actually play a much bigger role than you might think. When I started preparing to become a teacher, I didn't realize how much I'll be expected to include things like English, maths, ICT, equality, diversity, and inclusion, and even sustainability in my lessons. These are known as the minimum core elements, and they're woven into most education and training qualifications these days. But here's the thing, it's not just about ticking a box, it's about helping your students build real life skills that support their confidence and success. And when you already have these qualifications yourself, it gives you a reference point. You start to recognize where a bit of maths can slot into practical sessions or how you naturally build in English or ICT without it feeling forced. You begin thinking like an educator, not just someone who's delivering content, but for someone who's shaping learners for the bigger picture. So let me give you a few examples from when I used to teach the Level 4 Spa Management qualification. One of the ways I brought in the maths element was through the business management module. Would use Excel spreadsheets for budgeting tasks, things like startup cost or projected earnings. I wasn't standing there teaching maths per se, but I was using it as a natural part of business planning. It wasn't always a class that I taught, but it's something that I knew we embedded maths. And that's how you bring in maths without it taking over the lesson. When it came to ICT, I get learners using tools they could apply in the real world. So we'll collaborate using Google Docs, create digital presentations, share feedback online. Again, not a tech lesson, but using technology in a way that feels useful and relevant. And for English, it's often about communication, helping students improve how they write their assignments, structure emails, or deliver presentations. You're not marking grammar like a school teacher, but you're supporting your learners to express themselves professionally and clearly. So I want to give you some tips. Keep a notepad or even your notes app on your phone close by every time you spot a moment where English, maths, ICT, or even equality, diversity, inclusion naturally comes into play. Jot it down. Over time, you'll have a toolkit of ways to include these elements without needing to plan something separately. Now, if you're based in the UK, here's something worth knowing. And if you're listening from abroad, definitely check your local setup as well. In the UK, as an educator, if you don't already have English and maths at level 2, a lot of providers for those qualifications for free. They're usually listed as functional skills or key skills. I went back to my old university to explore my options, but you also find them at adult learning centres, online colleges, and community hubs. It's a lot more accessible than people think. But why does it matter? Well, let's say you complete your level 4 or level 5 education and training qualification and later apply to do the QTLS, which is the Qualified Teacher Learning and Skills Status. You'll need those two level 2 English and math qualifications. They're a requirement, not a nice to have. So if you sort them out early, you're setting yourself up for success down the line. So whether you're just thinking about your first step into education or already halfway through the course, getting those core elements in place is part of the journey. And if you're not sure where to begin, the Level 3 award in education and training is a brilliant starting point. If you're already delivering sessions, maybe 5 hours a week, you could definitely work towards and go for the level 4 certificate. And I think that might be a better fit if you already have learners on site. But either way, you're not starting from scratch. You're building on everything you already bring to the table. And trust me, you've got more than enough to start. So one of the core reasons why I wanted to record this episode, I think when it's going to go out, by then I would have completed my level 2 maths. Because when I was in school and I was doing my GCSEs, and this was pre-realizing that I was dyslexic, I didn't come out with maths. I got my English lit, my English language, everything else, but maths was something that just didn't work for me. And now I realize why, because my dyslexic brain was not good with numbers, which I think is associated dyscalculia, something like that. If I've got it wrong, my apologies. But that's why maths wasn't something that I just couldn't kind of understand. And as I was saying before, if you apply for certain roles or certain next level education, a lot of the time those are foundational, your English and maths. So therefore, when you're listening to this, I'm hoping that I would have completed my GCSE maths. So I'm doing it over the summer. Luckily enough, I went to my old university, or I think it popped up on my timeline, and they were just offering maths. I was like, is this a sign? And I just wanted to make sure that I fit around the time when I could actually absorb the learning and be able to take the exam. Like I said, because of my dyslexia and other things that work with my brain, maths is a thing that I find really hard to kind of grasp. But I made sure that I fit it in at a time where I was going to have a break from my PhD, so that I wasn't trying to juggle my PhD and any other requirements, so that I could keep my head down for 4 to 6 weeks and do my maths. And that's what I did. And that's the reason why I think it's so important that you try to complete the basics, so that as you advance, you're not having to go back to the beginning, or you won't be able to kind of take it to the next level. I don't know what the next level is for me, but I know the foundation is my English and maths. So if you're in the UK and you're like, I actually need my English and maths as well, and you want to kind of find out where I did mine, just contact me, because I think they do it throughout the year. You generally have to go and have an assessment first and foremost, so that they know what level you're starting from. Because although you need to get your English maths at level 2, you may be starting from level 1, and that's fine. So if you have to start at level 1, complete level 1, and then you go to level 2, it's the building block. You don't just jump to level 2, especially if you haven't done it for a number of years, if you haven't done it since you was at school. So I wanted to do this episode because it's so important, and I wish I did it many, many years ago, but my brain wasn't ready for it, and I didn't see the need for it. But if you've got the time and you know it's going to come up that you need to have your English and maths, especially if you don't have both of them or either of them, focus on getting that done so that you can work to the next level of your qualification. So if you enjoy this episode, don't forget to subscribe to I'm No Rookie on your favorite podcast platform. And I want you to really think about what you want to do next, what your next focus is. And I would also love if you can leave a review, because it helps more people within our industry discover this podcast. So until next time, remember, you're no rookie in the game of life. Thank you for listening. Take care.